So hello everyone, welcome to German Careers channel, a German language careers channel. And I am very glad to introduce Mr. Purandare sir, who has an organization called Pulse of Learning, and he like introduces German through interactive sessions, and also has some courses in English, which is also like Highland Abusher, where they introduce us to many German many German books or English books which have a deep impact on our life. So yeah, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Disha. You can please call me Abhiraj. You don't have to call me Sir, Purandare Sir or anything. Call me Abhiraj. That's good. Yeah, and I'm very glad to be here. I think it's a lovely thing you are doing. Yeah.
Okay, so now as I have stated above, he is the founder of an organization with a very amazing team, and they put a great teamwork together. So sir, what would you say about team building in business? How to build a team in business?
Yeah. It's a good question. How to build a team in general, and the answer is not very simple, as is the case in so many things. I think what is important is that the people who work together should like each other, and there should be some energy, and you will not know whether that energy exists before you have tried it out. So I think the way to build a team is to collect people, various people that you think can work together, and give them some projects to do, and let them be creative and find their own way to do that. And we just step back and observe and watch. And if you see something beautiful happening, then you know that you've got a team. That's exactly what happened. My team, all of them were my students when we did the first course of Pulse of Learning, which was a C2 in German, and we did a beautiful and a very creative version of the C2, very different from what normally did a lot of projects involving creative writing, a lot of history, how to present that research, a lot of stand-ups we did in German, which was quite new, um, and so on. And during the process, which the course was a long one, almost about a year. That's how long generally a C2 takes. And in the process, we got very close, and we understood the strengths of each other. And those people, then I asked, would you not just be a student but work? And most of them said yes. They were more than happy to do that, and that's how we had our first core team. Now it's been close to 2 years that we are running this, and we have acquired a few more people on the team that were not originally there. But basically, we like to be with each other, and we like to try out new things. These are the two things that kind of define us.
That's great. And like mindset, the common mindset should be common, and also the like wavelength should be common. And more than
Yeah,
that,
sometimes the mindset is not common. Sometimes people come from different backgrounds, and they will there has to be room for disagreement. We don't have to be saying yes to each and everything. But what we have done a lot and worked very hard towards accepting each other, embracing each other, uh, trying to find out how to best deal with differences, because these are natural. It's basically like in any partnership, any marriage, any kind of companionship, where we like being with each other. Sometimes differences crop up, and it's all up to us as to how creatively and proactively we solve those differences. So if we are doing that well, you will have a good team.
Yeah, so contrast can also, opposites can also attract, and contrast.
Yeah, they have.
So this is indeed a great, like, a very different, different thought on teamwork and team dynamics. And the other thing, what would you say to the German learners to, like, dig deeper into German? Which books, or how do they cultivate the liking for German?
That's also a difficult task. Most people who start learning will have some motivation to do so. Either people want to study abroad in Germany or in other German-speaking countries, or they want to work there. They are already working in a German company, so for better opportunities, etc. So I find all of these reasons and motivations are good, but they are very good starting points, but they're outside of us. And the way to really go forward and go a long way is for it to be also inside out. There has to be something within you that you find really interesting, amazing, in whatever you're doing. In this case, it is about German.
Okay.
So my advice is that start with whatever reason you have, but very actively look for connection with the language. For people who like to read books, German has so many wonderful books for all kinds of topics. For people who like to watch movies or shows, today it is very easy to find good shows on the OTT platforms. Do that. If you like history, do that. And that's what. So we have to try out. So my whole philosophy is try out 100 things. Definitely, you will find the one thing that resonates with your heart. And then you are set. But don't stick to the external motivations like studying there, getting a job. They will take you a certain length. After that, you have to find something within you to continue.
Yeah, so true. That is what we should be passionate about it, and it should
Hmm.
strike us and resonate with our whole personality.
Yeah.
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 And what was it that made you decide that you are going to be an entrepreneur? And what was that moment when it
Yeah.
resonated?
It was. Yeah. So it was not the wish to be an entrepreneur or things like that. I have been in this field for a long time, and I am still very passionate about it. I love German, I love teaching, etc. I was teaching at the Goethe Institute for close to 15 years before I started this. And in the process of those, I had an amazing 15 years, a very enriching experience, beautiful colleagues, students, amazing institute, and really nice. What I saw in that journey was there are quite a lot of other things that I wanted to do with the language, new things that couldn't be a part of the program that was offered over there. So, for example, we have our very unique um, course in the German grammar. We call it Kulja Simpson. This is one of the signature courses of Pulse of Learning. So, there we take a look at the grammar with a completely different perspective. And the medium of instruction for the first part is in English. So, we look at the German grammar, only trying to understand what it is, not through German. It's a very unique course, and that couldn't be offered in other platforms. Or we have a beautiful course in creative writing. We call it Bleistiftung, where we learn the art of writing. When you're doing a regular language course, A1 to C1, what you write are mostly things that you're going to need in the day-to-day uh, activities, no? An email, a letter, a formal letter, etc. But I think for connect with the language, we also need to write from the heart, and those things unfortunately cannot be tested in the exams. And so there are less courses. So sometimes it used to happen there is a course on creative writing, etc., etc. But we have it as a standard offer all the time, and it's a beautiful course. We have learned so many things, and I implement those things in many other courses. Highland Depusha, you mentioned, I myself am a reader. My wife is also a reader, and we literally like to drown ourselves in books. And I thought, if you are learning German at the C1, C2 levels, why won't you like to take a deep dive in a book? And a deep dive means it's not just a book club. It is a course designed to make the book a part of your life. So we have very deep discussions that go on for 2 3 hours on small topics, and that's where like we squeeze out the essence out of the book and try to apply it to our lives. So I had opted for first we have ein Zauber inner, we call it. And that was the moment when I said, "Ki, okay, in order to do all of this, which will creatively be very satisfying for me, and I want to do that, I need to step out of the regular um program that we have for anybody who is teaching." And that was the moment when I said, "Okay, okay, this is the right time. I can use my experience and try this out." And so far, I think it's worked wonderfully over 2 years.
Yeah, it is actually a very rare thing in this exam-oriented world, and everybody wants to go abroad and do MS, and these are the goals. But true learning
Yeah.
is missing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like that's also understandable because the exams are, number one, very expensive. Number two, they're also necessary because it's standardized testing, because people get jobs in companies or they get admission to universities. Then the universities and the companies need some validation, of what
mm,
is the level. And all throughout the world, unless there is a standard, we can get into a lot of chaos. So I think it is necessary, but I think learning should not be only focused and centered around that. There are many other things, and thankfully, we keep doing that. I think all institutes do that. There are all teachers understand the value of creativity, of literature, of things apart from the exam requirements.
yeah, so yeah. And how is the process all about it? How has the process evolved and helped the people? What would you say about that?
So we started with um, innovative courses. And when I say innovative, the word is used overused nowadays. What I really mean is, um, in every course we try to ask ourselves what is different over here. So over 2 years, what has happened is the evolution that we have a very definite way of going about a particular course, and experience is going to be totally different. So when you do a C1 with us or a C2 with us, you will see the difference, the difference in the course also. Normally what happens is, if you have a textbook, then the textbook defines the way of the course, isn't it? Because that becomes the main beat of the course. And so a new level means basically a new textbook with a different level of difficulty, etc. But we have also identified other things that need to happen in the levels, the approaches. So the experience is very different of doing a C1 and then a C2. Even if I happen to be the teacher, the same teacher, it's the same jokes, naturally, but you will see the difference. Oh, this is how it was here, this is how it was here. For example, in the C2 do not have any textbook. That's true of many institutes that offer a C2. Like C2 is a course where working with one textbook can be very restrictive. But we have come up with a structure for C2, which we didn't have earlier because they were experimenting a lot. So people who liked experimenting really benefited. People who wanted some, structure to the course actually didn't vibe with that kind of a course structure. So after a lot of trials, we have come up with a beautiful structure for the course. So I think we understand creativity more. we understand what it means to bring out new and original value a lot more. We lay a lot of importance on many things which are not just teaching or language related. So if you check our Instagram or whatever other channels, if you check our podcast, to reflect the values that we believe in. So, for example, creativity is a very big value. Originality is a very big value. So, we have got out something called as campfires, where we huddle around one expert who shares their experience. We have brought Reinhard May Avender, musical evenings, and in fact, the first one we did it at 12 o'clock in the night to celebrate Reinhard May's birthday. And we started 12 o'clock, and can you imagine, we had something like 20-25 people on Zoom, and we were going on till 3-4 in the morning. So that was unheard of, like a language institute doing something like this at late at night. So we tried to do that. We had our stand-up show. The first stand-up show we had was in winter 2019, before the pandemic struck, and we had it at Law College Hill at 7 o'clock in the morning. So we just put it out there that would you like to have a morning at 7 o'clock differently? And we had a crowd of about 50-55 people. It was, of course, free of cost, but 50-55 people were interested in it. They came. And so, how to find the spot, because the hill is big. So, we nicely tied ribbons to trees and we just put it out. And I think it worked wonderfully. So, we are trying out a lot of things, and many of them work. And the things that don't work, we learn from them, we feed them back into the system, and we do that. So that is how we are just getting better and more mature with this.
Yeah, so it is very great. And anybody would like to join such musical festivals, and because
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah, I hope.
yeah, everybody resonates with music and these activities. And
Yeah,
today there is a need to like retreat back and then enjoy these moments.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
yeah. And what would you say is the success mantra of your institute or your German learning as such?
I don't know what is the success mantra. There is no success mantra. The only thing is, I have personally always strived to look for the essence in things, and I believe in resonating with the particular activity at the essential level, at the deep level. So I myself have studied engineering. I have even worked for 3-4 years before I started teaching German. And so the same principle that I applied to my life at that time is what I'm applying to my teaching learning today. And I'm trying to put that into Pulse of Learning. The entire team is trying to do exactly the same thing. So there is a reason why I did not continue working in that other field. It was because deep down at the essential level, the frequency was not matching. It was not resonation. And so my heart was resonating for German, and I wanted to do that. So it was a very difficult step at that time to leave what I was doing, which was uh, actually very good and had a lot of prospects. And teaching at that time, I'm talking of 2003, 2004, was not so like the language learning was not as flowing as it is today. We
Yeah.
always had like people who were interested, but it was not so like I said, no, the market was not so big. It was a
Hmm.
big decision for me to take, but I took it because I knew that if I didn't do this, I will not be very happy at a very basic level. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to be happy at a very basic level by doing all by offering all of these courses. So when we think of launching a new course, we think of what is it that I would want to do? What is it that I missed when I was learning German? So, for example, if I had an opportunity to do Highlander Bücher, Bleistiftung, I would have done it all as a student. And that is what it is. So being deeply connected with what you're doing, with the people you are working with and working for, putting out the message in such a way that other people will see what you want to say very clearly is what we do. So we try to not do what the trend is or what the what everybody is doing. We try to do what we truly believe in, and that doesn't mean that we are not um, observing the trends at all, or that we are totally playing our own tune. No, it is that whatever is happening around, if we feel that this is something really valuable and this is something that I like to do or you like to do or we all like to do, then there is reason for it to do, for us to do that. But we don't like create products and services that are like, okay, we also have it, like that kind of thing. So when we made the podcast, for example, many people have podcasts, so we did not do a podcast just because we also wanted to have a podcast. We did a very deeply resonating podcast. So each of our episodes are so long. Our first episode is 3 hours long in German, and we talk about so many things about Ryzen, about music. Like the first interview was with a very good friend of mine and a beautiful teacher called Abha, and she has even sung an Indian classical song in the interview. So it is like completely open, like a conversation. So each of our episodes have been 3 or 2 hours long, and with that, what we have done vocabulary work, we have done amazing stuff, and now it has been close to a year that the first season has ended, and the second season is due. But we are not rushing into it because we want to do it decidedly differently. So we take our time to work through it, and we don't get uh, led and misled by false pressures. So there is no success mantra. I can keep talking about it without any clear direction or something like that. Just
Yes.
love what you do until you find it, keep looking. This is old advice. This is not my advice, but it is absolutely true.
Yeah, loving what you do is very important. And yeah, so and I have listened to some podcasts, and they are very helpful,
Yeah.
and they tell about German more, and we are literally get very motivated to learn German and read
Yeah.
some books.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so very much. It was a very enlightening session, and
Yeah.
we would like to listen to you some other time also.
Yeah, I would love to be here. Thank you for having me. And I think this thing that you are doing is also wonderful.
Thank
I
you.
am also waiting to hear other people, watch other interviews, and
Yeah,
all the best. Alles Gute dafür, was du hier machst.
yeah. Danke. Danke sehr, Sir. Und
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Bye, Disha. Have a nice